Hey, what's good YouTube? Anti-Yami here, back with another video, and in today's video I got 9 replays that I want to go over at a pretty rapid speed. So I'm going to try my best to not make this like an hour-long video, so my goal here is like less than 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and hop into it. If you guys are liking the content, again, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video. And my camera is doing like this weird thing where it's like being choppy. I could fix it, but it shouldn't be too bad, so hopefully it's not too like laggy. Maybe it did fix itself, I'm not sure. But anyway, I want to get through these videos or these replays as quickly as possible, and if it goes a little too quickly, you guys can always just go back and kind of like watch the game by play or play by play and understand how I was like playing the game. But there's gonna be some like freeze points while I talk about some stuff, but I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible. So I just want to showcase all these things because of like technical play. My opponents didn't always play like super perfectly, and I didn't always play super perfectly. That's how we can learn from our replays. But a lot of these games I won because I shouldn't have won, and a lot of games I won because I just outplayed my opponent. So that's just how it is, right? So anyway, without further ado, more White Forest gameplay coming right up right now. So in showcase number 1 here, I'm going against the mirror match, and my opponent didn't really open very strong here, so he only has like 1 magma mood, and that's just like unfortunate. And I kind of have like gas for days, so yeah, it just doesn't do anything. And Bestials doesn't really hurt White Forest cards, so let's go ahead and hop into it. So I go ahead and I do my standard. I don't go for again, if I have too many of the White Forest, the simple spells cards, I always go for this first, and then later on I'll go back and do my Arcielago later and stuff like that. But I want to do this to protect myself from like Droll and stuff like that. This is how I beat it. And one of the replays is going to show me beating Droll like this, so that's just another way to beat it. So, and in here we just do the standard White Forest like combo line and stuff like here. Like it's just very standard, nothing too crazy here. So yep, nothing to really discuss here. He just didn't open up any hand traps, which is very unfortunate for my opponent. Also, he's on 14 cards in the extra deck. Like, what are you doing? Wait, what are you doing here? So yeah, the Queen Azamina comes up here, and he goes for the Queen Azamina, which doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna do anything with Bestials, you always stop this. But I mean, yeah, I guess the Queen Azamina was that scary. So let's go. And of course I didn't negate because I didn't want to get hit with like a nib or something in his hand, so I decided to keep it. I mean, the Queen Azamina is just extra credit at this point, so this is no reason to go for it. So now we're going into the Fiend's combo here, and my opponent literally just disconnects because there's just nothing he can do here. So that's going to be it for game number 1, just like a little standard little beginning combo or whatever. For match number 2, I decided to save this one because we played through a shifter here again with our Maliss player, right? And he has George Worm and Ash and playable, and I'm going second versus it. And this is going to showcase of why I'm trying to play so many Maliss out, especially to shifter, because if I draw 2 of the 11 cards in my main inside deck, I feel like I win the match even through shifter. So that's like the whole game plan of why I'm trying to have so many blowouts versus Maliss, because this deck is just crazy. So they start off with the shifter, of course, and then now they go for the Dormouse. They open very weak, which is very good for me. And again, my game plan is if I have like one of those block cards plus Lancia, I try to Lancia them on their 3rd turn, and then try to use like Maliss or any other ways to stop them from playing and beat their half board. And then once I beat their half board, then I Lancia them on their turn 3, and it's pretty much over from there. And then I just clap up and finish it up on turn 4. Especially if I'm on the shifter, I gotta last through the shifter. Lancia is gonna give me that guarantee I survive type factor, and then we just come out and win the game. So that's the idea here, right? And very importantly, if you notice that I impermed my opponent's Dormouse and he didn't chain TB11. The reason why is because he was under shifter and he already used Dormouse effect. So if I waited to him use Dormouse effect and then he changed TB11, he'll get 2 bodies off of it, and then he would just kept pushing with the the White Rabbit and the Chessy Cat. So I did it on summon because if he chained here, he will still be on one body because then he'll go for, like, example, White Rabbit. It can't activate his effect because of this restriction. And then he'll go link one into bringing back the cat or bringing back White Rabbit. And this Bestial, if he had like any way to extend, obviously he didn't have field spell or anything. It had to be literally a Bestial for him not to keep pushing, because he had field spell, he could have kept going, of course, right? But since it's a Bestial, and I was like, he better have, you know, field spell or terraforming or he lose. And especially started with Ghost Arc. Yeah, I was in a good spot here. So he couldn't chain. There was nothing he could do about this. Imperming on the summon was the best play. So yeah. And then now we draw Sylvia. I'm like, cool. Now I can just do a little bit of damage here. I ash the TB11, which is good for us. And now he goes Dormouse effect to bring himself back, just doing some damage here. We said this as kind of like an imperm bluff. And then here's my misplay here. I think I should have dropped Lancia in the draw phase, because now he could crash into my Sylvie, and me having his body is a little bit more important than him having his own body. So I should have did that in the draw phase, but it's quite whatever. But we're still in a good spot here. And as you can tell, you see Black Goat's Laugh. I tried the Black Goat's Laugh again just to see if I like it, and I took it out immediately. I don't like it because versus Ryzeals, a lot of the times they're going to have Dweller up, and yes, it can out a Detonator and stuff like that, but I don't want to put cards in that don't do anything immediately. Like, you could play cards like Metatronus, you could play like cards like the Ultimate Slayers and stuff like this, but this card, if you have to open a way to discard it, and I didn't want to have like Sylvie plus Black Goat's Laugh and then you just automatically lose, especially going second. It's a little risky for my taste, but to each his own. So I ended up taking it out. But it worked when it worked, so it was good. So anyway, we go ahead and just gonna set up our advantage here. We do kind of play into this nib, which is kind of like unfortunate, but I'm here just trying to like wrap up as much advantage as possible. We get a free draw here. We're gonna normal summon Sylvie and add another Tails here to, you know, just keep piling on more advantage. And then obviously we have enough gas to keep going. So now I go into this. He's saving the Juris Worm. Again, I don't know what card is in his hand. He's saving his Juris Worm for his turn so he can have a little bit of follow-up, which I don't know if that's correct or not. I think he should have stopped what I was doing and then just kind of prayed that he topped second to playable. But it is what it is at this point. So I messed up with the Guardian Chimera here because I don't know why I made it. I was supposed to use his effect to draw and I just misclicked or whatever. So I was like, all right, I hope he doesn't draw into engine, because I had pretty much game there, like OTK, but I messed up. So it's just, that was on me. So luckily he drew into a bell and not engine. Again, we stopped Juris Worm from coming out, so he doesn't have follow up here, or doesn't have a way to play. So we got really lucky here. And then now this is just basically clean up here. We're going to deal with this Juris Worm, no problem. And it's just GG's from here, right? We have OTKs like 7 different ways, and we're just gonna put a stop to our opponent, and we pretty much won. And this is what I'm trying to do at the regionals coming up this weekend, of having 1 or 2 blowout cards versus Maliss, and we're just gonna win games 2 and 3. So that's just how, like, the idea of showcasing this, and this is what I'm gonna try to do at the YCS or the regionals. So yeah, he surrendered. It's nothing he can do. I can make a Light and Dark Chaos Angel, banish, swing for game. Doesn't matter. It's over. Moving on to match number 3. I decided to showcase this one because the deck list is very weird. Like shared ride, like warning, like what are you doing? But it's a really cool deck because it's what's it called? A Material Actor Goblin Biker deck, and this is actually game number 3. He did something in game number 2 where he made a very fat, I don't know what the XYZ is called, but instead of like detaching for calls, it'll go back to his hand or whatever. And he was using the Goblin Bikers to add like infinite cards from that XYZ to the hand. And he had like Droll, like Ash, like so many hand traps. I was like, okay, you got it. So this is game number 3. And my hand is looking pretty like saucy. So I'm very happy. Triple hand trap, 2 engine, 3 non-engine, 2, 1 engine, or 2, 3 non-engine, 2 engine cards. So I'm like, I'm good. And then of course the Ferraro's resolved, so I'm always feeling great, right? So I decided to stop this because I didn't want him to get any more advantage. And I was hoping like maybe he doesn't have a Goblin Biker card here or whatever, but you know, to my surprise, he does, and doesn't even go into the Goblin Biker stuff. He goes straight into this, but he really couldn't because I would have got too many free draws off of it. But he just took the challenge. He did not care at all. So yeah, my opponent's just playing a whole bunch of weird cards, but I mean the deck actually cooked a little bit, so it was pretty scary. Setting 3 here. The Share Right will be met with the Ash Blossom here because we just drew infinite Ash Blossoms, so didn't want that to resolve. There's nothing else that's like important to Ash here. The Goblin Pile Up is going to give us the rank 6. Fun fact, this card is now being played in Maliss, and it's actually very good because it deals with Detonator a lot easier. So just be wary that Maliss players may be on this if they're on like a ton of bestial cards, so keep that in mind. So it's really good, really annoying, but anyway, we got tons of guys here, so we're feeling really good. He took my Lurie there, which was like kind of unfortunate, so I was like, all right, we can find a way to get back into Fiendsmith, but right now we just need to just kind of like pile through all the interruptions. And now I believe that I personally here believe that I've played through everything. There's nothing else I need to worry about. Everything else is known except for this card. So if this is Nib, I mean, he doesn't really have follow-up here, so we're in a good spot. So I don't care if he has Nib here. I still have like potential follow-up with some stuff here. Definitely not in the grave, but at least with this, maybe something else. And I'm going to have Fiendsmith stuff here too, so we're in a good spot. So yep, we're going to clean it up here with the Fiendsmith stuff, and then Sensei Warning. And for you to do the OTK with the Fiendsmith stuff, you just need to make sure that your opponent has 6,400 life points or less. So that's the case here. Thank you, Warning. So now we're just gonna go ahead and do our OTK here, and we're gonna send the 2 monsters to the graveyard, and then now we do Admin Day, finish the game, and it's just OTK from here. So very good stuff. Moving on to the next match here, we got Ryzeal Fiendsmith versus White Forest here, and yeah, this guy wasn't really that strong. He definitely made a lot of mistakes here, and he could have ended on like Dweller plus Detonator and all these different things, because I only have 1 hand trap, and 1 hand trap does not stop this deck, especially if he opens Ice plus you know, Fiendsmith. So yeah, he could have did everything, but he just did not. He kind of went simple on me, so I decided to like not stop the first thing I saw. I decided to stop Detonator, or sorry, the Dual Drive there, to keep him off the fill spell. And then he just makes a really big like Detonator, like he was under Ferraros or whatever. So I was like, that's weird, but okay. But anyway, so now we're just gonna try to do as much advantage as possible with the Fiendsmith stuff. We're gonna bait with it. It's like my favorite way to start playing a lot of the times is just bait with Fiendsmith and see what he bites and what he doesn't bite. So he activates a trap card, sends Desiree. Desiree is gonna send the Engraver to stop me from going to the Chaos Angel, and then I normal summon Sylvie, activate the effect. I don't care if he pops, because now I'm trying to bait as many pops as possible here. So now we're just trying to, you know, do a little his Detonator, and yeah, we're doing a really good job of doing that. Kind of like a little bait there, which is really cute. And then now he's just doing this for no reason, because I mean, really went through the trap, so there's nothing he can do about that. So this is giving him like a little bit of Engraver follow up here. And then now we got the classic, like, I feel like my opponent is dead at this point. If I resolve on Hollow plus Wanted, it just feels like game over. Like, if they don't have any more interruptions, I feel like I can OTK them through, like, Exodia. It's pretty crazy. So, yep, we're just going to go ahead and just do our standard things here. Yeah, Queen Azamina just comes up so many times in these games, and this is, like, overkill. Like, extremely overkill. So I do double damage to the Detonator. And I kind of like, you know, I have like over like 10k of damage, like over 10k of damage. Like it almost felt like I was Tenpai here. But something to note for Saint Azamina, if a lot of people don't know, if people don't know if it's effect damage or battle damage, it's battle damage. It's reflected battle damage. It's not effect. So this right here will still give it double damage, which is fantastic. There's been a lot of times, and I don't think any more replays are going to show this off, but there's been a lot of times where I still games because my opponent summons big monsters, and I just go into Saint Azamina, battle phase, activate, summon this, or summon, you know, the level 0 monsters like the Azamina Azet and stuff like that, and just go attack for game. Comes up a lot, so good. So here in our next game here, we got White Forest versus Crytron, and what's the takeaway from this is that he has Droll, and I know a lot of people, you know, struggle with Droll in White Forest. I'm gonna get Droll again later for replays, and you're gonna see me actually go through a Droll, so stick around for that. But anyway, I actually beat Droll here because my deck is special, and I play Debtors. And we set up a Sylvia, and this is the whole reason why I do that, so it helps me mitigate Droll, so it makes it a little bit awkward. And now we're just going to play through like no more hand traps here because my opponent just didn't draw any more hand traps, which is very unfortunate. So this allows us to kind of like combo here for free, and we can definitely do some things here. And then of course we have our Ezet, so you know that's already full combo here. We're gonna have literally everything. And yeah, we're just coasting, just doing our standard lines here. And to my opponent's surprise here, he surprised me in this game. He actually did a really good job of cracking my board, and I think I could have played a little bit better into like how he interrupted some of his things. Like my Desiree could have negated something a little bit more impactful, but I just felt like I was so far ahead it didn't really matter. Like Crytrons are not the most consistent deck in the world, so I just feel like I was in a good position. So but yeah, we make the Desiree here. Of course, we continue to keep playing, remake the Sylvia, so we're getting like a double Omni Negate off of her effect this game, which is fantastic. He top decks Unicorn. I go Valor because I just don't want him to get Birth, because he might have a Fenrir in hand, whatever. And here I should have not stopped the Birth here, because what is Birth really doing here? It's not really doing anything. I'm like scared of the like Unicorn ripping my extra deck, but that doesn't do anything. So I should have stopped the last card in hand, which was my misplay. And now he gets to pop off a little bit. So even though he does get to play here, I just know the lines for this deck. So I'm like, okay, I know exactly what he's trying to go for and stuff like that. So basically I'm going to use the White Forest Simple Spoils card to kind of board wipe everything. And it just puts him in a really weird spot. Even when he activates this card, it just doesn't do anything. It just doesn't. So now I go into Chainlink 1, Garden Chimera, Chainlink 2, Desiree, and then we're just going to clear everything here, and it's just nothing he can do about it. We don't pop this because it gets an effect on pop, and then that's going to summon something else, and it's just nothing he can do about that. Too much follow-up. I have Fiendsmith, just everything, literally everything. He just loses on the crackback, so he knows the scoop there. Game number 6 here, we're going against Maliss, and this guy played it really interesting on the hand trap. So this is kind of like a learning thing for, not for the White Forest players, but for the people playing as White Forest. Choke the White Forest deck before they get too many cards, because if you hold your hand traps until like the end of the combo, it's just going to be a worse game for you. And just showcase this here too, because he owes Nib Imperm, and I'll tell you where he should have hand trapped, and he would have probably won this game. But yeah, let's just go ahead and go through it. So typically you want to Ash either Tails if you're feeling Tails, or if you want to keep me off the Azamina stuff, you Ash the Deception, and then you Imperm this, and then you Nib whatever comes after that, right? So that's how he should have played it. But yeah, when you don't really know the matchup like that, you don't know, right? So people just think like, oh, Imperm Nib, I win the game, right? Because I can just hold it until the end of their combo and it's over. White Forest don't really work like that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and continue here. We're gonna do our standard combo lines here. We're gonna tribute to Black Witch because I swear I draw that card every game and not Wanted. So I'm gonna eventually bring that card back with Wanted, is why I tribute it with Deception. And then we're gonna get a little bit more advantage here with the Arcia here. Of course, we got the Queen Azamina coming down and doing some really good stuff. And then we're going to use her to trade her off with the Arcielago. They ashed that for some reason. I'm like, okay, so I just get her effect. I'm also going to gain life points. He's going to lose life points. And then now he decides to go for the Imperm Nib, which is like, he probably thought, yeah. Did I showcase Fiendsmith here at all? I think I did show off Fiendsmith. Yeah, with the Fiendsmith in Paradise. So nibbing here was just crazy. Very, very crazy. So the nib here was just too early because he could have waited until I made like a Desiree or kind of commit to the Fiendsmith stuff and then nib me, but you know how it is. So I basically shuffle back both of my synchros and then just go into the Fiendsmith line with Sylvie and Arcia, which is very funny. So now we'll just keep playing through all these misplay hand traps, and we're gonna end on a Desiree, and we're gonna send the Nib off the field. Again, I don't know what deck is he on, because you know, I actually didn't know what deck he's on. I was like, he's on a lot of hand traps here, so I was thinking like, I don't know, like maybe Ryzeal and he just had everything, but I don't know. So yep, we just make our classic Desiree here, and we are good to go, right? And he just surrenders, and I actually just didn't know what deck he was on. So game number 2, I didn't saw Lancias. In game number 3, I think he did win game number 2, and then game number 3 I could just clap back. So anyway, going into the next match here, we're going against the Mitsurugi Ryzeal deck, and he's going first here. And this is game number 2. I beat him game number 1. So game number 2, I had the Biscuits in here and stuff like that. So not a very strong hand, but this Druid Swarm gets so much value. So much value here. Again, this is another instance that my opponent did not play correctly. And it seemed like I should have lost even when he just summoned this. But I was waiting for him to like get really greedy with this and activate his effect in the graveyard. I use Druid Swarm to like negate it. But he actually sets up a way to where that doesn't come up. So he goes Detonator, which is all pretty much good here. And then he goes into that. And then I have to Druid Swarm here. And he has to use a detach from the Detonator here, which is completely fine. And then he goes Barrier and has a trap card. So my man literally pops over. I hate it when players do this. Like, why call synchros and draw phase? You hold this card, so if I play into it more, then you can call the right fusion or whatever. Most cases it's right to call fusion, because my fusion pile of the deck is what's going to give me the victory. So yeah, that just wasn't right at all. And then he has this pretty much full inboard here and cross and all this stuff, and I managed to outplay my way through it. And this Druid Swarm gets a lot of advantage here, so he negates Druid Swarm again. And then now I'm going with the Fiendsmith combo here. Debate as many things as possible. Hopefully he'll use a trap card to stop something here, and hold and blow he does. And he has only one more Detonator pop, and yeah, we're good. So now he's just using this guy to like Regeki my board at the right time. So I was like, okay, he's probably gonna Regeki here. So I go normal summon, and remember it's on special summon, not normal summon. So now I'm trying to threaten the wolf, the one that Book of Eclipse everything. And that's going to get me in a really good spot here, because even if he activates the effect here, he can't really I won't get the Regeki. He won't get the Regeki effect, right? So that was the idea. And I got greedy with the search here, but I didn't really care, because I was like, I'm so far ahead, I'm just chilling. I went into this because now if he goes into the Regeki, because I'm threatening a Light and Dark Chaos Angel at this point, so he had to go for that here, and it's very unfortunate because now I get the Desiree and I get the Sin back here. Normally versus these type of matchups, I usually side out the trap here. For some reason I didn't in this particular situation, because I didn't side in too many cards in this matchup, but I kept the trap card in, and it did wonders, because it now out of this, so now he doesn't have the follow-up off these, which I'm very surprised he didn't even just like get the follow off those cards anyway, but whatever, right? It doesn't matter because he still would have lost. So anyway, we continue, and we are just gonna truck here, because now we know all the interruptions are going here. Like, this is like known, everything is known, everything has been exhausted. So now we're just setting up enough of advantage, setting up a board and clearing his board. So that's the idea. So as long as we can get rid of that field spell and keep him off the Mitsurugi stuff, we should be fine. And so I'll go into SP Little Knight, banishing the field spell. I have an Omni negate, so he has to go into the battle phase, which gives me another turn. And I still have Druid Swarm for this situation right here with the trap card. I go, no, that's too strong. Druid Swarm was MVP of this like match. It was insane. And then I go into just the Fiendsmith stuff. So keeping this live for like a big giant Chimera push here. I don't Veiler this because I wanted to like board wipe his board, So that's the idea why I didn't Valor that. And plus I could have got punished of anything in his hand, so I just didn't want it to extend into it. So I know he would go into sword into X or Ice Ryzeal, and then if he normal summons all of that, I just board wipe the board. That was the idea. But he goes into the Twin Eclipse, which is I wasn't ready for, and this gets him back into the detonator, and now it's the right time to do this. So even though he does pop my Guardian Chimera and I do clear everything here, he's on nothing. So now I just pretty much win the game. And I have, again, Fiend's follow up and all that fun stuff in the graveyard. So again, nothing my opponent can really do about that, but it is what it is. He's definitely gonna play a little bit better, and I should have lost this game, but hey, I just beat a Ryzeal player. Oh, by the way, I did say I threatened a Chaos Angel. I meant to say I couldn't even Chaos Angel, so oops. But yeah, again, if my opponent would just hold D-Berry and call Fusion, I would have lost this game. But hey, we take those. So yeah. Maybe my opponent forgot that I was on a D-Berry since he flipped it in draw phase. So whatever. I mind game myself on that one too. I think I had a different play. I don't think I was supposed to make a Chaos Angel there, but it's like whatever. So here we go into Labyrinth, and he's on like no non-engine here, or sorry, he's not on engine, unfortunately. I don't know that, but like yeah. So I'm like, okay, this has to be Labyrinth or maybe Morpheus, whatever. So here when I go against decks like this, I just out resource them. I let them do all their different things, and as long as they don't have engine, I pretty much automatically win this by playing just perfectly and just sequencing properly and just outing their back row. So again, we're just gonna poke for damage. We're not trying to go for game because our win condition is resource. So yeah, kind of doing some light point damage there. I couldn't do any real damage there. He goes into that, but unfortunately to my opponent, I had wanted. So yeah, he tried to make me not resolve that card, and I'm in so much stuff here. Okay, and then I went into this because I thought this was like really hard to out for them. So I'm like, okay. So now I knew this was Labyrinth. And what's funny enough here is that when I go for this, it's gonna make my Regina pop both of these cards, and I just win the game with so many cards in hand. So yep, that is the end for that. And then for our final game here, we're going against Mermail Atlanteans. And the reason why I want to showcase this is because he opened Droll, and I have to play through it. So I won game one. This is game number 2. I had so many hand traps, so I always think it's correct to Imperm Valor the Nethabis and hand trap somewhere else later on in the combo. And thank God I had Ferraros and it resolved, so that gave me some confidence that I had a good chance of winning this game. So I activate Sylvie, I get Drolled, and then now I just go into Black Witch by activating the Deception, so it come back on end phase, and then we just go into the Fiend's combo. This is going to play into the nib here, but he literally has to be on something crazy because again, I have this, and I'm going to have this as follow-up, and Guardian Chimera can come down, and I'm in a good spot here. So my opponent better have something crazy, and I went with this so I can either give myself a 2-pop Chimera or, you know, things of that nature. So just give me a little bit of versatility. And now it will come up like that because I Valored this, and this is going to come out or bring something out here, and I'm just going to pop it. So it is what it is. We're going to drop Engraver here. Yeah, that's just not going to fly. So we're just going to prevent that from happening. And we make a Guardian Chimera popping 2, and it's pretty much game over here because we have Engraver follow-up, we have Deception, and we have Legends or Tells. So that is going to be it for that. All right, guys. But thank you guys for all watching this video. Again, hope you guys learn a thing or two. And don't ever give up. Always play it out. Even though it may be bleak in some scenarios. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed some of those showcases there. And again, if you want to go back and watch some of the matches, you can. I mean, there was a lot of matches that went through, and I try to keep it at a nice pace. So 9 replays and sub 30 minutes. I think that's a pretty good pace. So guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe, and yeah, that's it. Peace.